Honourable members, in terms of Rule 133, the Rules Committee of the National Council of Provinces is composed as follows. The chairperson of the council, the permanent deputy chairperson, the chief whip of the council, the house chairpersons, the programming whip, as well as provincial whips. Council Rule 133 Sub-Rule 2 provides that a party that does not have a provincial whip may be represented by a party representative. Further, Sub-Rule 3 states that a party that is entitled to a party whip may be represented by such a whip. In accordance with Council Rule 133, the following office bearers will form part of the Rules Committee. The Rules Committee will accordingly be chaired by the chairperson of the NCOP, which is myself. Of course, we've not yet elected the deputy chairperson, whom he or she will be part of the Rules Committee, the House chairpersons as well. We know that we have not concluded the business of the House. Accordingly, they will be part of the Rules Committee. Of course, the Chief Whip, Honorable Muimang, the Provincial Whip of Eastern Cape, Honorable Advocate Nonkonyane, the Provincial Whip of Free State, Honorable Dlamini, the Provincial Whip of Gauteng, Honorable Modise, the Provincial Whip of KwaZulu-Natal, Honorable Govender, the Provincial Whip of Limpopo, Honorable Momo Mulukume, as well as the Honorable Chief Whip of Mpumalanga, Honorable Numalo, the Provincial Whip of Northern Cape, Honorable Mabilo, the Whip of Northwest, Honorable Sithole, the Provincial Whip of Western Cape, Honorable Badenhorst, the Party Whips is Honorable Makesini from EFF, from Free State Province. The party representatives will be Honorable Briet from Freedom Front Plus, Honorable S. Mokwena from MK Party, Honorable B. Farmer from Patriotic Alliance, as well as Honorable Peter from UDM. This is the proposal, honorable members. I now call for comments or proposal before the Rules Committee. We can do that by a show of hands. If none, the committee has been duly established. I will then move on to the adoption of membership of the Subcommittee on Review of Council Rules. In accordance with the Council Rule 137, Sub-Rule 1A, the Rules Committee has a subcommittee on review of Council rules. Further, Council Rule 138 provides that for the composition of the subcommittee, in terms of the Council Rule 138 Sub-Rule 1, it is proposed that the following members are appointed as the members of the subcommittee. Honorable R.M. Tsweni will chair the committee. Honorable K.M. Muimang, the Chief Whip from the ANC Party, will form part of the committee. Honorable B.A. Khadebe from the ANC will also be part of the committee. Honorable F. Badenhorst from DA will be part of the committee, and as well as Honorable Makesini from EFF, which will also form part of the committee. Once again, Honorable Member, I'm inviting the House for comments or proposal before the committee. Honorable Mima.
Thank you, Chair. Let me also again rise to endorse the proposal is tabled. Of course, the importance of the review of the rules is quite important, given the fact that this is the seventh administration, and obviously their lived experience there. I believe that will inform us of the need to review some of the rules, given the fact that there is a new political landscape that is unfolding in the country, and therefore such dynamics has to be factored in. But more than that, I think the issues around time allocations, the issues around list of speakers, there are certain gray areas that I believe that has to be relooked at. But other than that, I think the fact that in the era of the GNU politics, obviously to have some implication. There are instances where in certain provinces you have equal numbers, so therefore that in itself, I think this is still the need to really look at our rules. Thank you, Chairperson.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Mimang. Of course, what you are raising is true, and it's a matter that we'll have to entertain at some point through the Review Committee of Rules. Once we finalize the business of the day, we'll still subject the rules, defer them to the review committee to have a look at it precisely, to look at the issues that are being raised by the chief whip. They also need to find expression. As politics evolves, things can be static. Therefore, we need to be amenable to the reality and accordingly factor that into our rules to ensure that the seamless and smooth running of the House. Definitely, we will then accordingly defer these rules to the review committee to factor in the current discourse as it is contained. Thank you very much for making that comment. In the absence of any other comment, this subcommittee has been duly established by this House. I will then move on to the next item, which is the adoption of membership of the Programming Committee. We now proceed to this honorable member in accordance with the Rule 142. The Council has a programming committee. Further, Council Rule 143 and 144 provide for the membership and chairpersonship of the programming committee. In accordance with the Council Rule 143, the following members are proposed as members of the programming committee. The chairperson, being the chairperson of the NCOP, the deputy chairperson will also form part of this programming committee. Of course, the chief whip of the NCOP is part of this, Honorable Mimang. The provincial, all provincial whips from all provinces will then form part of this. As we've indicated, the party representatives will have to be part of this programming as well. In this instance, Freedom Front Plus will be represented by Honorable Briet. MK Party will then be represented by Honorable Mokwena. Patriotic Alliance will also be represented by Honorable Farmer, and as well as the UDM Party will then be represented by Honorable Peter. Are there any comments with regards to what has been put before the committee, honorable members? If none, pardon? Oh, the party. It's not here. Okay, let me edit. Okay. Sorry, there's an exclusion, an omission actually, of the party whip, which is from the EFF party, which is Honorable Makesini from Free State. That was an omission. I take it that this committee is duly established as well. Honorable members, I would like to draw your attention in terms of Council Rule 148, which provides that the Rules Committee must establish a select committee and other committees of the Council and a number of members of each select committee. I will now call upon Honorable Muimang, Chief Whip of the Council, to present the proposed committees, clustering and membership. Over to you, Honorable Chief Whip.
Again, let me rise to do as invited. Chair, the draft proposals of the clustering of committees of the NCOP of the 7th Parliament is proposed as follows. The clustering, first and foremost, will involve the social cluster. It will involve the security cluster. It will also involve the governance cluster and the economic cluster. That has been the clustering permutations that we have found as very helpful to the work.
Sorry, Honorable Chief, is he audible? I'm struggling to hear him as well, so I'm not so sure if the House can hear him. Can we assist him with the microphone?
Is that better, Chair?
Yes, that's much better. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Chair, I was saying that the proposals of the clustering of committees is informed by the lived experience that we have found in this institution, that we have found to be quite helpful in terms of exercising oversight over both the executive arm of government and also the local government, but more than that, ensuring that we hold those spheres accountable in terms of due diligence that they have to exercise. So in terms of the social cluster, Chair, the first one is the select committee that we are putting forward on education and technology, sports, arts and culture, which is composed of basic education, higher education, science and technology, sports, arts and culture. The addition that we are making to this cluster that differentiated from the sixth administration cluster is the addition of communication and digital technologies. The rationale behind that, Chair, is informed by the fact that the study of science, technology and digital technologies in education has resulted in a technological integration in learning and various significant learning of management systems and outcomes. It is essential for the select committee to drive the NCOP's intervention, pushing for greater integration of science and technology in our education system. So therefore, we have the view that this will definitely be able to facilitate that integration. So therefore, the proposal is that we have a select committee on education and technology, sports, arts and culture, basic education, higher education, science and technology, communication, digital technologies, and sports and culture. That is the proposal that we are putting forth as the first select committee under the social cluster. The second one under the social cluster, Chair, relates to the select committee on health and social science, which will involve health, social development, women, youth development, and persons with disabilities. In essence, in relation to this select committee, it remains the same. That is the point that we are making, Chair. The second one relates under the governance cluster. The changes that we are making in relation to the governance cluster is the removal of public service and administration from the economic cluster. I think that is quite important because in relation to this removal, we are taking it to the State Committee on Governance, Traditional Affairs, Water and Sanitation, and which initially included a human settlement. I think it's interchangeably. I think let me speak to that because we are removing human settlement from Select Committee on COCTA, taking it to the Select Committee that deals with economic cluster, but more on the Select Committee on Transport, Public Works, Infrastructure. So we are adding human settlement. I hope it makes sense, because in one instances we are removing human settlement from COCTA, Select Committee on COCTA, and taking it to Select Committee on Public Works and Infrastructure, which is part of the economic cluster. So hence I'm speaking to them interchangeably. But in essence, that what we are saying, Chair, under the governance cluster is that this new Select Committee and devoid of the human settlement. That is the point that I'm making under the governance cluster. So now, in that instance, let me then move to the security cluster. Under the security cluster, it remains the same. There was a proposal that we had the state security, but because the state security, criminal intelligence, and also defense intelligence belongs to the Joint Steering Committee on Intelligence, and only members that are vetted, that have a top security clearance, can be part, will have an opportunity to exercise oversight over the intelligence agencies. So under the security cluster, it will remain the same, because even if you can put it here, if you are not vetted, you won't have access to defense intelligence, you won't have access to crime intelligence, you won't have access to state security until such time that you are vetted. So that is the point that we are making. So the security cluster will remain the same. On the Select Committee on Petitions and Executive, there is an addition to executive undertaking under Select Committee on Petitions. The addition of public in the name of committee will further assist in clarifying its mandate, which is to process public petitions and executive undertaking. In essence, that is the change that we are making. Chair, now on the economic cluster, we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Select committees under economic cluster. The first one is that one that I spoke to on the Select Committee on Transport, Public Works and Infrastructure and Human Settlement. That is the first one that I was explaining when I dealt with the governance cluster. It will have Select Committee on Public Infrastructure, Public Works and Infrastructure, Transport, Human Settlement, and Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation. That is the first Select Committee under the economic cluster. The second one, Chair, will relate to the Select Committee on Trade and Industry, Economic Development, Small Business, development, tourism, employment, and labor. The addition that we are making to this committee is the public enterprise. Is the public enterprise. This will also help because the state-owned enterprise plays a critical role in terms of key sectors of our economy, whether it is energy, whether it is transport. So it will make sense to have this public enterprise under the Select Committee on Trade and Industry. Obviously, the importance of this committee exercising oversight over key sectors of our economy is important, and therefore there has to be a seamless work in relation to how it interacts with key departmental the departments that deals with the growth of our economy. The third one, Chair, is the Select Committee on Land and Mineral Resource under the Economic Cluster. The addition that we are making is the electricity, because in the past, electricity, the minister thereof was one of the ministers that President used his prerogative, who was not part of the list, but because of the President's prerogative, was able to utilize the spaces that he has of appointing 2 ministers. So it's a new area that we are introducing to this Select Committee on Mineral Resource and electricity. The next one, Chair, under the finance, which also form part of the economic cluster, is the Select Committee on Finance and the Select Committee on Appropriation. This committee remains the same, and because of its importance in terms of processing finance bills, the lived experience that we have is that in the past, it always had invited a lot of interaction. Those that were part of the sixth administration will remember the interaction between Honorable Karim and Honorable Ryder. So it's very important it remains the same. It is quite important because it has an important role of ensuring that indeed strong governance and robust public finance management system will be able to promote transparency. But more than that, I think the issue of consequence management has to be emphasized. The last one, Chair, is the Select Committee on Appropriation. It also remains the same. It's quite important. But I think what is also important, Chair, is the last point that we want to bring, emphasizing on why there has to be more emphasis on the discipline, because these select committees are the engine of the NCOP. It means commitment, it means dedication, it means at all times members of the select committee must always be on their toes, because you need to ascertain as to whether other provincial interests are they part of the APPs, are they part of the budgets. It's important to make a distinction that we are not the complicator of the National Assembly. As in interacting with the departmental APPs and strat plan and budgets is to look particularly in terms of what is on the plate for our provinces. Thank you, Chair. I submit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Muima. Accordingly, I want to believe that the proposals were equally duly circulated to the honorable members. They've had a fair share to look at them. I want to open it up to the honorable members if there is any comment at this point in time that they want to raise in relation to what the Chief Whip has presented before the House. Honorable Badenhorst. Honorable Sylvia Ngumalo.
Okay. No, thank you very much, Chair, and once more my humble greetings to you and the House. Chairperson, I fully support what the Chief Whip has presented to us, but I want us to look at the issue of the removal of human settlement from COCTA, which is something that has to deal with traditional leaders and also COCTA in terms of land allocation. So I'm like, let us look at it in that way to say that in terms of water and sanitation, I'm fine, but in terms of removing it from the Department of COCTA. Meanwhile, our provinces, they're saying COCTA, they're joining the two cooperative governance and also human settlement, just to look at it as to whether it won't form a challenge on our side when we are making sure that we are doing our work. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ngumalo. Honorable Badenhorst.
Honourable Chair, thank you very much. I'd just like to start by maybe making a comment or two, if I may. We received this agenda yesterday at about 2 o'clock, yesterday afternoon. And so it was a bit difficult to get all our ducks in a row and go through all of this in the allocated time. I just wanted to allude to the fact what I've picked up is between the 6th administration and the 7th administration, it seems that we now have 10 select committees, and in the 6th administration we had 12 select committees, if I'm not mistaken. We had Cluster 1, Peace and Security, there were 2 select committees there in the 6th administration. We had Cluster 2, Social Services. Cluster 3, there was 2 there. Cluster 3 was Governance, there was 2 there. Cluster 4 was Economics, and there were 2 economic clusters, Cluster 4 and Cluster 5, with 2 each committees. And then there was obviously the Finance Committee and the Appropriations Committee, which makes it 12 committees. I'm not sure if I'm miscalculating here, but that would mean that we now diluting one of the most important functions of the NCOP, which is oversight in select committees. We're diluting it by 2 committees. And I just wondered why that would, what the rationale would be in lessening our committees, for starters. Thanks very much, Chair.
No, thank you very much, honourable members. If I may allow Advocate Lindela to respond. Oh, okay, sorry. Chief Whip, do you want to say something?
Chair, the water and sanitation in terms of powers and function, it's a municipal function. It's a municipal function, whereas human settlement, it is not. And human settlement, in a sense, together with infrastructure development, is quite a sector that, in terms of driving the economy using infrastructure development, makes sense to be in the select committee of that deals with the public works and infrastructure. In a sense, we are creating that linkage and seamless interaction between infrastructure identified areas. So that is the motivation. That's why obviously we had to have a reflection in terms of, do we either take water and sanitation and human settlement to infrastructure development? But now the challenge was now, if water and sanitation is a municipal function in terms of powers and function, and then you take it away from COGTA, that will create a discord. That was the motivation. Other than that, like as I said, the reduction, correctly so, I think what is quite important is to make sure that we are also taking into account the new dynamics that are beginning to unfold on the Badenhorst. But other than that, our view is that I suspect we are also counting on the petition and ethics. No, petitions and executive undertaking. Yes. So the point that we are making, obviously, it will, I suspect, make sense for the two to go together. But I think it's a lived experience. This is not casting stones. Obviously, I think as we move along, there will be an opportunity to make a reflection as to whether it's oversight, it's accountability, and getting compromise. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Honourable Chief Whip. I think the confusion here, Chief Whip, when you look under governance cluster, the composition of that select committee on transport public service, well, you've removed the public service correctly so and clustered it under, because those are issues of governance. Those are governance issues. But then I think where the confusion comes, the tagging of governance cluster, and you have this economic enablers, your public transport and also your human settlement. That's where the confusion comes in. Whereas the select committee number 4, it becomes relevant in accordance with the governance cluster. I think this one is a bit misallocated here. It needs to go under economic cluster, because those are our economic enablers to ensure that the economic growth, to ensure economic growth within the municipal space. So I think the confusion and your explanation speaks to this being the enablers, other than the governance cluster. So I think it's one thing that we need to relook and allocate it appropriately where it belongs.
Exactly, Chairperson. That's why when I started,
yes,
I put more explanation to say this transport public works belongs to the cluster.
Yes.
But I suspect probably in making some changes, it must have probably passed our side. But like hence when I was doing explanation, I was able to say, in a sense, transport, public works and infrastructure in municipal settlement belongs to the economic cluster. So the changes that we effected there was to remove public service and administration to the governance, because then that's where it belongs. Yes. Thank you, Chair. Yes. You are correct, Chair.
Yes. No, thank you very much. I hope you are answered, Honourable Ngumalo, Honourable Badenhorst. Are you answered? Are there any follow-ups from any other member?
So I'm just going to confirm we're going to be running this select committee system on 10 select committees, not 12.
Yes. We'll have only 10 this time around, as opposed to 12. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, and I must just add to my previous comment. I think we are diluting the oversight function of the NCOP by lessening the amount of select committees that we have. We're clustering from 2 select committees into 10 select committees, thereby creating a system where we have less oversight opportunity by bundling too much into 10 select committees instead of 12 select committees. But that's my comment. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much.
I thought we had 11. Advocate, we had 11, not 12. Sure. Yes. We had 11.
Okay.
one less week.
Yeah, because of the misplacement of your government.
I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know what the GNU is going to do yet.
Yeah, yeah. I think the clustering is in order, and it's in accordance with how the departments are being structured, and I think we should be able to manage our business within this confine. Of course, our main business should be oversight throughout, and we'll make sure that obviously it puts enormous stress, pressure on us in terms of being fatigued at some point, because it means technically there's a lot of work that is expected of us, and therefore it would be critical that we keep up to our responsibilities at all times and make sure that we get to the ground as much as we can by way of doing oversight. Having said that, honorable members, I want to thank you for the comments that you have put before the House, and accordingly, this clustering is equally duly established. And we want to say that the clustering of this committee with membership will then be put before the ATC in accordance with Rule 149. Honorable members, we have now come to the end of our meeting. Yes. Oh, can I request honorable member to introduce yourself?
Good morning, Chairperson. My name is Bino Farmer. I will be better remembered as the farmer without land. First of all, Chair, allow me to congratulate you on your election as well as the Chief Whip. I hope we will be able to work together. I just have a question.
Yes.
Chair's meeting did not allow for time for silent prayer, and I am just checking whether that would be the norm of this House, or whether or not we will introduce that, because my maker is pretty important to me. Thank you, Chairperson.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Farmer. No, it's always good to invite God in our business. We really appreciate that. As I've indicated, that we'll learn from one another and we'll perfect our ways. I know that amongst us, some are Christians, some are not Christians, some believe in traditional. Pardon?
We are gods.
No. There's only one God. So we don't want to complicate things, and accordingly will allow everyone's religion to prevail in this House. So there shouldn't be any dominion of one religion over another. And therefore, I think honorable members will also find comfort in saying that in our meeting we must first invite God, and accordingly we will pray. Even amongst ourselves, we can ask Honorable Chief Whip to pray for us, Honorable Farmer, Honorable Badenhorst, Honorable Numalo, Honorable anyone Sitole can pray for us. And yeah, thank you very much. No advocate Nkonyane lapana uzosihola ngomthandazo wamakhosi. So we are covered. So we are all rounder. Yeah. Having said that, honorable members, I want to take this opportunity and thank you for honoring and being part of this critical meeting, which will then pave the way forward for the 7th administration. We now know how are we composed as this House, and accordingly, with the latest political developments, I want to reiterate what we've said earlier on, that we will accordingly subject the rules back to the review subcommittee to have a look at our rules and factor in the issues that might have emerged with the government of national unity. So what is important then, we will accordingly look at it and review the rules in accordance with what is expected of all of us. Having said that, we have come to the conclusion of the business of the day. The meeting is accordingly adjourned. Have a great day further today.
Minister.